have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
It's time to buckle up for making sense of the madness.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here. And the truth is that Marjorie Taylor Greene has really grown on me. And there are a number of reasons for this, well beyond Epstein, which will probably be the focal point of this video. But MTG, to me, is true quote-unquote grassroots make America great again. I hate using the stupid ass MAGA terminology. I am not MAGA, okay? It gets associated with Trump, even though he stole it from Reagan. And it's kind of this catch-all for the idea that you have to play team baseball with your party. Now, this is one of the big reasons that, number one, I have never chosen a quote-unquote politically ideological side like conservative or liberal, Republican, Democrat, because it's not what I believe. All right? It's never been what I believe. Now, I've had people approach me, especially on the peripheral, both inside and outside of the geopolitical arena, people involved in not only national politics, but local politics say, yeah, but this, you should do it so you could vote in the primaries. I even got asked today if I vote. And the truth of the matter is, I vote for the President of the United States. I doubt I will vote in the midterms. If there is a particular election that I think is important, I would probably also vote in those. But I would never subject myself to registering for a party or going down ballot, okay, just because. I don't believe in that, all right? And Marjorie Taylor Greene has not only broken with the party, which if you really think about it, and you remember all this talk via Trump and these people within the administration, especially round two, wasn't that what they were doing? Was breaking with both sides of the party? When MAGA came in initially, it did revamp the Republican Party. And one of the things I talk about is, Trump is off the reservation, at least enough where you can actually view, via the court of public opinion and via the true base, not the diehards like we're talking about, not the people who worship Trump or the other side that has TDS, right? But the people truly in the middle that voted for him because he said he was going to stop wars, that voted for him because they did want Ross Ulbricht free, that voted for him because they were in favor of things like Doge and small government, right? A lot of things that he hasn't been able to deliver on. When enough of those people rumble, there is movement. And quite frankly, MTG continues to be consistently anti-war, okay, pro-accountability, pro-U.S. economy, and not only knocking it out of the park with the Epstein thing, but one of the few people out there that is tackling geoengineering, solar radiation management or modification at all. And that's a huge, huge issue to me. Again, my last full-length documentary film, Shade the Motion Picture, the meat and potatoes of that is the geoengineering that's going on. It drives me wild because I see it consistently. It's not always on a daily basis, but it's to the point when I look up in the sky and it's not going on, I'm actually happy and relieved. And then when it is going on in mass, like it's one of those ones where I can see 6 to 8 planes in motion at the same time as I'm looking at it, obviously involved in geoengineering, and I'm the kook, I'm the wacko, I get verbally and visually upset. It's one of my pet peeves of my nieces. I don't generally go off into political rants or whatever, but when I'm sitting there in the car with them and it's a gorgeous day out and I see X patterns all in the sky and I see the planes in motion, it's very hard for me to keep it together. And it's not just because I'm concerned about the environment around me, the biology, myself. I'm worried about the human species. I'm worried about our water supply, our air supply, nature, and how we've corrupted it. And MTG has been super solid on that as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over just a few of the aspects via Epstein and Trump. I mean, Trump has now come around and said, vote for it. Let's release the Epstein files. However, there might be a caveat there that a lot of people are unaware of, especially with this Clayton individual now taking over these new investigations into Epstein, which may stifle the release of a vast majority of these Epstein quote-unquote files that matter. You know, I saw somebody in the chat before we began, by the way, talking about the Epstein list. If you're new here, and again, about half of our viewers are every single video, there is no Epstein list at all. It's not a real thing. It is a media creation. It is a meme. Jeffrey Epstein was not running an underage brothel in which he had clientele. That is not what was going on. He was a serial sex offender who would mostly engage, when he was doing it illegally, with teenage girls, 14. It seems to be one of the ages he really liked. And he would then use these girls to either blackmail or curry favor with others and pass them on. He even discusses in this new email dump a model who he dated for a couple years until she was 22, like from 20 to 22. And remember, there are victims of the sex trafficking that were of legal age when they began relationships with Epstein. Again, plenty that were underage. But this one in particular, again, not underage. And then he talked about basically giving her to Trump afterwards. All right. And the reason that Trump is in these trove of emails so much is because a lot of these emails are going through the time period of Trump's political rise. And Jeffrey Epstein is actively trying to take him out with mainstream journalists and also people within Congress like Stacey Plaskett. So I don't know if this change of tune is maybe because he was ignorant to the fact that Epstein was working so hard to actively take him down. I don't know if this is a management of the cover-up, but we're going to get into all of it. So thumbs it up, subscribe, share, ring that bell. Again, we will take your super chats if you are watching live right here on YouTube. And I do want to remind you, I can't do it without you. There still are no paychecks. Yes, we have been remonetized on YouTube, but I still have not gotten my first paycheck, and it is minuscule right now. I think it's our first round of being back at it about a month. I think just a little over $500. So Small donations, big donations, we need them. $5, $10, $15, it absolutely means the world to me. Plus, we got the PayPal down below for the big donors. I want to thank everybody that's contributed. I also want to thank marigoldresources.com for supporting the broadcast. They buy and sell businesses. Give them a call at 563-424-5707 or check them out at marigoldresources.com. And my man McGreevy, who runs that, also runs the River Cities Reader, rcreader.com, for one of the best independent media operations out there. Okay. Let's dive deep, okay? Let's do it. Whitney Webb is somebody that I respect tremendously, and here she is talking about this post via Donald Trump and the fact that Pam Bondi has now said that the U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton is taking over this Epstein investigation. So they announced this investigation a few days ago, and top Democrats are saying things like this. All right, now just think. My gut hunch is that Attorney General Pam Bondi, having been ordered on social media by the president to open an investigation into a series of high-profile Democrats, will promptly say, oh, no, there's an ongoing investigation. We can't disclose any of this. So this may be a way to manage these files, and I'm in agreement with that. Again, the big secret for those that don't know, that might be new here, is that Epstein is an arms dealer. It's not just the Israeli intelligence. It's not just the ties to U.S. intelligence. It's not just him being an FBI informant after Palm Beach. It's also the involvement with Saudi Arabia. These emails shed new light on that. And essentially, Jeffrey Berman, who is the one that brought the case against Epstein in 2019, okay, he was pushed out. All right? He was pushed out. Now, Bill Barr, who's not your buddy, wanted to bring Clayton in to replace him. Now, Clayton doesn't get to replace him, and instead, he takes a job with Leon Black's Apollo Global. Nice cushy little position on the board. Now, Whitney speculates here that it seems to just be made for him. How about that? So until they could bring him in, and now they're bringing him in to investigate Epstein, and we all know how well that 2019 incarceration went, and the Ghislaine Maxwell trial went, and the Todd Blanche interview of Maxwell went. Now they're bringing this guy in. We'll see what happens, okay? By the way, give me a follow on X right now, at Jason Bermas, if you want all these stories raw and more. Before we get into Marjorie Taylor Greene, I also wanted to point out that Paris Hilton has made a comment. You can see her here next to Ghislaine Maxwell. And for those that don't know, kind of in her rise to fame, she signed on with Donald Trump's, I think it was T Management, which is one of his modeling agencies. Again, that's something that him and Epstein had in common, right? They were both not only into beauty pageants, but models, etc. And that seemed to be their relationship before the falling out. Now, let's get into MGT. She posted this just a couple of hours ago. Tomorrow, Congress will finally vote to release the Epstein files. This should have never been a fight, okay? Abusing, we'll just say abusing. She used a harder word. Teenage girls, trafficking victims, and protecting powerful people is not a hoax. I unapologetically and proudly stand with these women. Let's hear what those women have to say in this post.
I suffered so much pain.
So much pain.
So much pain.
I suffered so much pain. I was 14 years old.
I was 16 years old.
I was 16.
17.
14 years old.
This is me.
This was me.
This is me.
When I met Jeffrey Epstein.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
There are about 1,000 of us.
It's time to bring the secrets out of the shadows. It's time to shine a light into the darkness.
exploitation.org. Big shout out to Flick Off. He goes, I'm with you on MTG as much as I can trust a politician anyways. And I would agree with you there. Again, she's being portrayed in the media, especially now that Trump is attacking her. And we're going to play the gradual. It's 3 clips. It's about a minute long. Epstein, aliens, space laser. She got the big Q hat on. I don't think she's ever promoted the Q nonsense. I will be honest, I do not know her position on the UAP, UFO, alien stuff. Okay, but, you know, I feel like a lot of Congress and a lot of people in general are getting that one wrong because of, I mean, literally the global disinformation program surrounding that. And then Epstein's at the top. And now Trump's the cool guy. That's just wacky Marjorie. Really? Really? Is that right? Okay. Well, let's see some of the other things that Donnie T has to say about Marjorie.
I passed a great, big, beautiful bill, which is the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. So when somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's now catering to the other side, I don't know what, I guess she's, got some kind of an act going, but I'm surprised at her. But when somebody like Marjorie goes over and starts making statements like that, it shows she doesn't know.
Now, again, she's remained consistent. The big, beautiful bill is big. It is not beautiful, period. So she remained consistent on the economy, and now she's a traitor. Now she's the other side. Now it's an act, right? And you hear the same thing about Rand Paul. You hear the same thing about Thomas Massey. Unfortunately, they're the best we got. The best we got. So let's hear Trump on this next one.
That would be happening. And by the way, I stay home 98% of the time. The last thing I want to do is travel 22 hours in an airplane, as nice as this plane is. So, Marjorie Taylor Greene is not anyway. I mean, she is a very different thinking than I have. Something happened to her over the last period of a month or two where she changed, I think, politically. I think that her constituents aren't going to be happy. Already, I have people calling me. They want to challenge her to a race in her district in Georgia. And, that's too bad. She's lost a wonderful conservative reputation. But when she says, don't go overseas, if I didn't go overseas, we might be in a war right now with China.
Now, personally, I like diplomacy via Trump. But what upsets me here is he is openly calling for people to run against one of the best people we have in the House of Representatives. And he's saying that she's flipped. No, she's been anti-war the entire time. When the zombie was in, Zombie Joe, she was anti-war. And one of my biggest criticisms in the past, and this is why I used that picture in the thumbnail where she's in the Cruella de Vil outfit, is that, she has had that kind of a bravado and stage presence. If that's my biggest concern when she's remained consistent on these issues, so what? So seriously, so what? So here's the latest one where Trump dismisses her and her fears because she's pushed for this Epstein information, that she basically put out a tweet saying that she was not suicidal.
And her life could be in danger because of the rhetoric?
Her life is in danger? Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her. Okay, what about you? So
again, that's just Trump's dismissive, cocksure nature, right? A little Marco, and now Marco's part of his administration. I hate the fact that we have to go through, this childlike banter, but him attacking her is crazy town, in my opinion. Now, I want to go back to the space lasers. Hey, everybody, just so you know, the Strategic Defense Initiative is a real thing. That's the Star Wars program. The United States and Russia openly have space weapons that are laser-based, okay? I would imagine China has them, and I would also imagine Israel has them. Now, I'll be honest. I remember the big hubbub about the quote-unquote Jewish space lasers. She even gets asked by some journalist like a year ago about them, and rightfully so, she tells that journalist to F off. Now, I actually was in a discussion with one of my older fraternity brothers, actually the one that happens to be Jimmy Kimmel's lifelong childhood best friend. Okay, still knows him, still hangs out with him, goes to the show and things like that. And he was dismissive of the idea that Israel had that type of exotic weaponry. Well, guess what they just announced last month, huh? You'll never guess what Israel openly talked about having last month. Oh, they're deploying their first combat-ready laser weapon system for operational air defense. It's called Iron Beam. It's a laser interceptor. Now, this is what they're showing you, okay? And Israel is part of Five Eyes, heavily allied with the United States. Yeah, I'd say they probably have those type of weapon systems. And I think you're ignorant otherwise. But hey, the lunatics are still out there. I mean, just so everybody understands, the lunatics, the QAnon lunatics are still here. So they're talking about timestamps and Donald Trump calling Marjorie Traitor Green in a post from 2018. I mean, you want to talk about insane? Those are the crazies. The mainstreamers are the crazies. That's what they have in common. The QAnon folks and the TDS folks. Sorry. Now, I've talked about the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene has openly discussed geoengineering and weather and climate control. She held a hearing that they're fact-checking. Now, this was a couple months ago. I totally missed this story. I don't know. I kind of do know how I missed that story. It's because I was in D.C. just before 9/11 anniversary, and then, of course, the Charlie Kirk murder was kind of dominating the scene. But we might have to do a watch-along just with this. All of this, in my eyes, is positive for MTG. Say it with me now. MTG has grown on me. Folks, you know the drill. I need you now more than ever. Thanks, Flick Off, for that super chat. We do appreciate you. If you do want to donate, if you like what you hear, like what you see, enjoy the program, like a true independent voice that's going to call it like he sees it, $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. BuyMeACoffee.com/Jason Bermas, BERMAS. That's where you find me across platforms. Also, the PayPal is down there, and I say it at the end every time because it is real every time. It is how I truly feel. It is not about left or right. It is always about right and wrong. I absolutely love you guys, and I will see you all on the flip side.